All right, so we're going to be doing some gambling predictions here, but real quick, I really want to make this very important what I say at the beginning of this show, which is gambling is addictive. And I've been hesitant about making gambling content for a bit just because I was always worried about, there are kids who use this channel and things of that nature. So that's why I never taken a gambling sponsorship for that reason. But I figured there is an okay way to do this, and that's what I'm going to try and do here. So I just want to be very clear right up front. This is no get rich quick scheme. In fact, I almost guarantee if you decide to take my bets and bet money, you will eventually start to lose money. No one really makes money gambling on football. My guess, I don't know the numbers. My guess would be less than 5% of people who gamble on football actually make money over a long period of time. So keep that in mind. This is for fun. Let's have some fun and talk about some gambling picks. Also, real quick, just wanted to mention I speculated about AJ Brown, and I kind of previewed if he would be healthy or wouldn't be healthy, how that would change the game. He's been ruled out. That happened after I recorded the video, but before I posted it. So just throwing that in there as well. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled program. So right off the bat, I am going to go with the New York Jets. That's right, starting off with a hot take, perhaps picking the Jets to maybe not win, but at least cover against the Houston Texans. Here's part of my logic is that both of these teams suck. We all know this. Both of these teams are not good. One intriguing thing about the Jets is Zach Wilson is going to be back after missing some time. And I actually think that this scheme matches up well against the Texans defense. Most schemes match up well against the Texans defense, but we've seen particularly the Jets had success against both the Colts and the Cincinnati Bengals, although neither one with Zach Wilson, but they had success going up against kind of a base zone coverage team where you can get a lot of checkdowns and things of that nature. The LaFleur scheme works well against that kind of defensive scheme, and the Texans like to play a lot of cover two zone. I think I could see the Jets kind of offensively rolling through the Houston Texans. The question is just how much do we expect Zach Wilson to take advantage of that? I think he'll be okay. We haven't really seen him. This is a different kind of test, right? Typically, when we say it's a quarterback's first real test, it's because it's the first time they're going to be challenged. This time, it's almost like this is the first time you have a chance for Zach Wilson. Very interested in seeing what he can do. The flip side and the way this could backfire would be since Tyrod Taylor has had a lot of success so far. A lot of success may be a bit harsh, but or a bit too far. But he's had some success with being just, a solid quarterback for the Texans. He's a big upgrade from Davis Mills. They have beaten the Tennessee Titans last week, although so did the Jets earlier on this season. So it's a fascinating game. I am going to go with the Jets, especially one given points here. For my next pick, I'm going to pick another team that, not the best team. I'm picking Atlanta. PK means pick them here. So you don't have to cover any points. They just have to win. I think Atlanta is probably the team here. Also, I probably should mention, these are kind of the lines that the week started. It's possible they've changed now. But again, it's more about fun than anything else, in my opinion. So that's what we're doing. For the Atlanta Falcons, for me personally, I just think the Jaguars aren't great. Maybe we'll see this Trevor Lawrence thing kind of work out better now that you're playing a defense that hasn't been spectacular. But I actually do kind of trust the Atlanta Falcons to scheme up well against the rookie. They did scheme up well against Zach Wilson in the London game. So I think that they should be okay in that factor. The flip side is, well, I would say this Jaguars defense has vastly improved since they started. And, this team in general, their young players getting better. I still don't think it's great. And I think Matt Ryan, now that he might have some time to throw, although, again, Jaguars defensive line has had its moments as well. But still, I think that they should have guys getting open, which they've struggled with. That New England game in particular, they struggled with everything there. I basically what this comes down to is I think that there's a huge advantage at quarterback in this game for the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan today is still a much better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence today. Now, for the future, everyone would take Trevor Lawrence, but for today, that's a big factor here. That's why I'm leaning towards Atlanta in this one. All right, next up, we have a divisional matchup, which is always scary. Let's not forget, Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh last year when those two teams, Pittsburgh was perceived to be the much more talented team. I'm going Cincinnati here, though. For one thing, I don't know who's covering Jamar Chase. I just don't, and that's a real issue. And are the Steelers going to drop back and play cover two all game? No, that's not what they do. I would really have to see that. They did it against, a team like Buffalo, so maybe they could try that. there. But Pittsburgh is a team that likes the blitz, and the Cincinnati Bengals can really do well against the blitz. They're a really good team versus a blitz, and they have plenty of receiving options. Even if you double chase, other stuff can get open. I think they'll put up points. The flip side is we have seen Cincinnati get beat, especially on checkdowns, which kind of is what the Steelers like to do a little bit. So Steelers could maybe put up some points as well in this one. The way I view it is I just think that, again, I like one team's offense to beat another team's defense. And then on the flip side, I just like sort of think that there's some holes in a defense, but I don't know if I trust that offense to beat it. I'm always going to go with the Bengals in this case. Not sure if that made too much sense, but I'm trying here. That's why I'm going to go Cincinnati. I think they cover the 4.5 points here. Next up, we are going with, my podcast co-host Kyle is going to be very happy that I'm putting this one on the list. I think New England covers a 6.5 point spread in this one. I know it seems high to give, 6.5 points, but you got to factor in just the matchup. This is a tough matchup, I think, for Tennessee. I don't know how Tennessee is going to have anyone get open. I mean, again, Kyle brought up in the podcast, and it's a great point. If Bill Belichick can, take away your number one option, if AJ Brown is not a factor in this one, what's going to happen for Tennessee? Now, Brown might play, he might not. If he doesn't play, I think this line will probably move. If it's announced in the morning that he doesn't play, it might move to the flip side there. I think all the Patriots have to do is win by a touchdown. That -6.5 matters a lot more than if it was -7.5. And plus, let's be honest, we know New England's not a team to say, we're up 10. Let's put our foot off the gas a little. That's not what they do. They keep going as well as they can. Also, I do think that the strength of this Titans team is their secondary. I think New England can run the ball effectively enough to sort of take away that strength as much as possible. So if both these teams were healthy, I might even pick Tennessee to win. But given just where both of these two teams are at, the Titans have a lot of key injuries. Patriots don't really have any. Granted, it's kind of the way their team is constructed to avoid, one injury really sinking their team. But I got to go New England here. And finally, I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings to at least cover a 3-point spread against the San Francisco 49ers. I think these are two teams that we had higher expectations for going into the season. I do expect the 49ers to put up some points. And I would say out of the 5 bets, my goal is to do 5 of these. If this does well, I'll do it weekly. And so I would do 5 a week. And my plan is to do 5 a week. But there was really 4 that jumped out at me, and a 5th I kind of said, I'll throw this one in there because I do expect the 49ers to put up some points against Minnesota, even though I think the Vikings defense has played well when they're in position, but that isn't all the time. And obviously Kyle Shanahan, he'll get players out of position with the best of them. So that's kind of my concern and why I do think that is a solid matchup. But the flip side is I just think that this Vikings offense is really good, especially when they're firing on all cylinders. We've seen these past couple of weeks the Vikings not being afraid to just throw the ball up to Justin Jefferson, and that's legitimately their best play is throwing the ball up to Justin Jefferson. I think that they're kind of learning a little bit better on how to handle things, and I think it's going well-ish at least. So I like the Vikings matchup in this one, and I think that they're a more talented team, but they always flip side is I just don't know how much I trust this coaching staff. And when it comes to coaching, especially on the offensive side of the ball, San Francisco has a huge advantage. So I still like the Vikings +3, but I could see this one going either way. So that's what I think about this one. All right, so those are my 5 favorite bets. I'm not doing any overs or unders, just this stuff because I think this is more entertaining. In my opinion, I like talking about this stuff. So if you guys like this kind of content, let me know in the comments below. We'll see how that goes. If you don't, let me know that as well, and then I'll make something else. Always appreciate the feedback, regardless of if it's positive or negative, as long as it's constructive. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.